Precious one, we are in the last days and many things are happening. Interesting. In Isaiah chapter 5, Bible makes us understand. Woe unto them that put sweet for bitter and bitter for sweet, light for darkness and darkness for light. We are in times when evil and bad things are celebrated and good and ethics are in the minority. But we shouldn't be carried away by these. Again, in Proverbs chapter 5, the Bible says regarding marital faithfulness, chastity, fidelity. Drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. And goes on, let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, and rivers of waters in the streets. Now, if you have a fountain, will you allow the fountain to be scattered in the streets and waste the water and the beauty thereof? No. The fountain is collected and kept in a particular place, limited in scope. So he calls that relationship a fountain. And that fountain should not be dispersed, it should not be scattered. You should drink waters from your own cistern. A cistern is an underground water tank. Today we can say polytank or underground water tank. So God expects you, if you want to correspond with him, to drink waters out of thine own underground water tank or polytank, your own water system. And he goes on to say that let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth, particularly talking to the men. Enjoy the wife of your youth. Let her be as a loving hind and a pleasant roe, and let her breasts satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with a laugh. Be thou ravished. In other words, be captivated, intrigued by her love. Let her breast, it didn't say sometimes, it said at all times. Keep your eyes, by implication, into your own soup. Don't look into somebody else's soup. When you have gone to the local restaurant, or you have gone to get food even at home, when you are your food or your meal has been dished out in your plate and you are eating, you don't look into somebody's and want to eat what somebody else is eating. Yours has been given you. What else? And that is why you have to improve on what you have. If you see a nice dress out there, you see somebody elegantly dressed, gorgeously dressed out there, you can photocopy it and bring it home and adapt it for your wife. I'm not saying adopt. Adopt means hook, line, and sinker, and therefore you don't realize that what you are bringing can really fit, or you have to modify it before it fits your spouse. And so you need to focus on what God has given you. One way to overcome jealousy is to improve on what you have or seek your own. There are people today who are going after other people's wives. There are people today, men today, they have wives, but they are still looking out of the window. Perhaps like in the case of Jacob, who married Leah and was actually looking for Rachel, and probably thought that when they married it was in the night. They now think that whom they have seen looks better than their spouse, and they are looking out of the window and looking for Rachel, quote unquote. But once you get in there, you are supposed to improve on what you have. You have been sentenced to a lifetime of love and commitment, and you don't have to go back on your words. The vows you take, the vows you exchange at the altar were not things to be taken lightly. And that's why the priest will say that this institution is not to be entered in unadvisedly or irreverently, but in the fear of God. Today, unfortunately, you go to weddings and marriage ceremonies, and people are shouting and making noise. The euphoria is all over the place, and they have relegated the solemnity of the occasion to the background. Whereas the couple should be allowed to reflect and take an introspection and make those vows from the very depth of their being. People are shouting and they are taking it as a fanfare. It is dangerous. Unfortunately, many people jump in and jump out. But God expects that we revere marriage as a covenant. In Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4, the Bible says, the marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But fornicators and adulterers, God will judge. And so we have to take it very seriously. You see people in some places who have no respect, no regard for God. People can even swap wives. They can even swap husbands. It is happening on this planet. They can give me your wife for a night, or give me your wife for a weekend. And they do it. And these things are abominations to God. There are people who are married and they cannot keep their eyes in their marriage. There are men who are patronizing women, though married. They are petting them. They are giving them pet names. How can you call somebody's wife your love, your beloved? How can you call somebody's husband your sunshine, your beloved, your love? How can you even share photos, share words of intimacy that which should exist between a man and a woman who are married with another person? And some of these people are married. It is odd and totally unacceptable. Now, if you look at Genesis chapter 20, verse 2 there, something happened to Abraham. Something happened to Abraham. The Bible says, and Abraham said unto Sarah, his wife, she said of Sarah, he said about her, that she is my sister. And Abimelech, the king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. Now, if you are working with somebody who is your wife and you tell people that she's your sister, likelihood is that they will give you gifts and they will patronize it and take her away. And that's what happened to Abraham. The truth of the matter was that Sarah was Abraham's sister in a way. So later on she explained, daughter of mother, not daughter of my mother, daughter of my father, but not daughter of my mother, that kind of thing. And she married. In those days it was allowed. But he lied to Abimelech. And in the integrity of heart, Abimelech went for Sarah. And the Bible says, look at verse 3 of Genesis 20. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, thou art a dead man, for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near to her. In fact, looks like he was taking time to get married to her. But God restrained Sarah circumstantially from Abimelech, because Sarah was a vessel chosen by God to bring God's holy nation on earth. So he didn't allow that. But he went to Abimelech, who had gone for somebody's wife, in a dream by night and said, you are a dead man. There are some people whom God will warn, and there are some who have received warnings, and there are some who have received certain attacks, and there are some who are losing their defenses and about to lose their defenses for patronizing other people's wives, particularly if these people have a covenant with God. These people have a call of God. God has covenanted with them. These people are in grave danger. There are people who get to know that a woman is married, but they will still want to patronize the woman and date that married woman, and probably even end up marrying that woman. It's a curse, especially when they know it's a curse. God will come after you. It's very dangerous. And there are some women too who will not write off those men, who will not tactfully resist or reject those men. They will not take certain steps to let the men know that you cannot have me or you cannot approach me. How can you be looking into a man's face or allow another man to look intently into your face as though you were the wife at the workplace, at the business arena, in the social cycles? Allow a man to do that to you when he is not your husband. How can a woman and a man be in a compromised position when they are not a couple, they are not legitimately married. Look at what Abimelech told Abraham. In fact, he rebuked Sarah. He said, unto Sarah he said, behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes unto all that are with thee, and with all other. Thus she was reproved. So Sarah herself made herself look like men have chance in her life. She compromised because Abraham said, say you are my sister so that I'll be alive. Nobody will kill me for your sake. And so Abimelech rebuked Sarah and said, your husband is a covering of eyes to thee. That is the significance of the wedding veil that today a lot of people wear. They have gone many rounds. They have gone very intimate. They have done it several times. And yet they go to the presence